the day I'm going to be fitting some side boxes, and I'm going to be utilising this Givi frame, or Givi frame, whatever I call it, that came with the bike. The boxes I'm fitting are from Temu, and they have inserts. It comes left and right, and there is this huge thing which they say you bolt under the bike or on top of the bike or somewhere, and then the frame that holds the boxes bolt onto this. But the frame itself, this is a little L-shaped bracket, and that sits and bolts on. It's not quick release, so it bolts on, and there's a couple of holes at the bottom, and you can see those 4 holes at the side for the bike. And this part, conveniently, is about the same size as the bolts holes that hold on this Givi bracket. So I'm going to take that off. It is Allen key, and I'll let you know what size it is, and we'll get it off and see how it looks. Well, that was easy enough. This is my workbench, my nice wheelie bin. 5mm. It says W5 on that, so I'm saying it's 5mm. Don't quote me. And excuse me for sniffling, I have a horrible stinking cold. Because marries onto the bolt, which goes round the frame, and the other side. Be mindful of these 2B springs that are in each one. They can fall out. So just be mindful, and then you can put all this back together again. They're quite easily done. They just fit in like so, and then the frame goes over the top of it like so, and it'll bolt back together again. I'm not going to use these. They are too big for the frame that comes supplied. They're way too big. Huge bolts, lovely. So I'm utilising these ones. The ones that come with it, there's loads of ones that come with it, and it's fine. They're absolutely fine, that they'll do the job, but they're just not long enough to go through the frame part and get a nut on the other side. So I'm having to use these ones. They are going to stick out a bit, but until I purchase a couple of these slightly longer to fit inside the box better, I will be using these bolts. I'll be using these washers on the bottom two to spread the load, and these ones on the top two that go through the frame to try and spread the load until I can get either a thinner, longer piece of metal, which I'm going to put across the inside of the box. If we go to the box, across the back end here, I'm going to put a thin piece of metal just to spread that load over that. But it's just a test and fit and make sure everything works. I'm now going to offer up the box to the holes to make sure the holes are the same size, because the ones I'm bolting on, as you can see, they're oval, and they will fit, but they're not dead square. So I'm going to do that first, and if need be, what I'll do is pull those holes in a bit. It's just plastic, so I'll just melt it with a bolt, just pull it in. I'll show you doing that if I need to do it. Okay, the bad news is these bolts, or the holes for these bolts, are too far apart from the ones that's needed. So I'm going to have to open up those holes sideways, which I'll do inside, and I'll show you that. Okay, inside I hope this thing is not going to kick off, but there you go. It has. We've got a sacrificial nut, and we're just going to heat that up, put it in the hole and pull it to open up those two holes sideways. They need to help me out here. If my wife comes in and says she can smell burning, back me up and say you can't smell a thing. She's making it up. That's all I've done. That should do it. If need be, I'll come in and pull it in a wee touch more. All fitted. These two bolts, which came with the system, are bolted onto the bottom of the L. The L runs up here, and this one is just bolted straight onto it with a larger washer, quite flat. This one again is bolted on, larger washer. This one I am going to get a bar that runs across the back here just to spread that load out a bit more. You can see I need a wee bit longer bolt. It's just not it's halfway through that bolt. It would be fine, but I'm going to do it anyway. And it's bolted on here too. On this side, where the exhaust isn't, it hits on that. So I'm going to have to get, again, another reason is, and at the back here I'm going to put a couple of washers, or maybe even put a nut on this side and then feed it through another nut, that'll lock it in place. It's not dramatically bad. This one on this side, because of the exhaust, is absolutely fine. As I say, it does come with inserts, so you don't see all your shoddy workmanship. And these were, I think, £60 a pair. I mean, it's plastic carbon fibre, what more do you want? And I think they're okay. They're not going anywhere. I may upgrade the bolts in a later date, maybe make the holes wider so I can put the larger ones through it that came with the Givi. I'm not bothering too much because they are not quick release. There'll be bags going inside these, and I'll be opening up, taking the bag out. So if somebody wants to try and steal these, then God love them, they can have them. Well, I hope that was useful for you. Until next time, ta-ta!